How's it going today, YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about people that could possibly benefit from the movement from 4G to 5G. So today we're going to be talking about people that are making parts for these 5G phones. We're going to be talking about service providers for the 5G phones and also the physical makers of these phones, which I think you could guess what that company is because it's being recorded on one right now. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. Who's the biggest one to benefit from 2021 movements to 5G and how I think I can make a lot of money in these companies. I have positions in all of these companies, but do your own due diligence on these. These are ones I like for the reasons I like them, and I'll also talk about reasons I don't really like them at the same time, because it's always important to hear the bull and the bear thesis here. So if you enjoy the content, think about liking and subscribing. Let's dive in the first one. So the first company on the list is Apple stock, ticker symbol AAPL. So Apple stock, one of the biggest companies in the whole entire world, is going to very muchly benefit from 5G. They rolled out their first 5G phone in 2020, and 5G speeds were reportedly up to 100 times faster than, 4G. And I apologize for my terrible, terrible handwriting. It got stuck in the kindergarten, I guess. So, what I really, really like about Apple. So anybody with an Apple product is going to get stuck basically with that Apple product. A very, very sticky product. I write right here. So when you're going to upgrade, you're not really going to move away. Apple has a really, really low rate of people moving away from their products once they already have their products. So like I have an Apple phone, and this is my third Apple phone because you don't want to really delete all your apps or anything like that. So iPhone-wise, I believe it's a very sticky product. People are going to keep buying this product. And I think from 5G, everybody's going to want to upgrade to 5G once they realize how fast and how significantly better it is from 4G. So I think Apple can benefit largely in that sense. Apple is also more than just a tech company at this point, I would say. They have lots of different services that they provide. They have lots of different things, like they have wearables now with the watch. Everybody wants their watch on and everything that connects to their phone. I see lots of people with that. They're selling MacBooks. They sell all of these different kinds of things, and they also provide services, which they also make money for. And then they're also talking about making like an Apple electric vehicle. So they could be expanding into huge, huge different ways. And the electric vehicle market has been booming. So I'd imagine if Apple did get into that, that could be another home run hit for them. But there are a few downsides to Apple, though, which we'll toss up on the board here. So what are my main problems with Apple? I mean, Apple's got one of the best balance sheets in the business. They have so much cash. They're somehow, even though they're so large, able to expand revenue and earnings pretty consistently. What are my big problems with Apple then? So my big problem with Apple is the valuation that it has on it right now. So it's worth $2 trillion. And I write out, whenever I see a valuation, I like to write it out that's so high, because $2 trillion. Look at how many zeros are on the end of that bad boy. So that could completely fund a government stimulus just if we liquidated Apple, which is just absurd. So it's worth quite a bit. The PE, the price to earnings, is above 40, or about at 40. And historically, it trades about in the 20s. So this is a pretty rich valuation for Apple right now. And this is probably due to the fact that everybody's possibly thinking that, 5G is rolling out. They're going to do quite well from that. They've done quite well the last few quarters. With COVID, they did really, really extremely well. And possibly the fact that they now have this home run, we want to get into the EV game too. So possibly things like that. I do think that Apple's just going to grow. I don't see any way that Apple is going to get replaced by anything within the next 20 years, I guess I would say. I don't see a player coming in and wiping out iPhones or anything like that. So in my books, this one's kind of just like a buy and hold forever. Infinity. So this one's kind of just a buy and hold forever in my books, and it's just a safe play. It's got a tiny dividend right now, which probably doesn't even match inflation. But it's just a buy and hold in my book right now. I really like Apple. I think 5G is going to benefit from them, and I still think it's a decent time to buy. And if they do in the short term dip down a bunch, I'll just stuff a bunch of cash into it, is kind of my plan. So I like Apple, and those are a couple downsides from Apple. You should always look at both sides. So let's move on to the next one. The next company that I believe is going to benefit largely from 5G is Qualcomm. There's also another company I owned quite a while ago, Skyworks Solution, but I do like Qualcomm a little bit more, so I'm going to throw Qualcomm on the list for this one. So Qualcomm, ticker symbol is QCOM, Qualcomm. What do? They provide networks, they build broadband circuits, systems, software, all related to 5G. So they're a big part of the actual physical stuff that goes inside the phone that provides the 5G services. So they are going to benefit in a large way from the 5G wave. So market cap of $187 billion. So this is pretty high, especially historically. PE is also quite high at 36.59. So I like a PE that's anywhere between, like, if I can get it under 20, that's good. But in the market we're sitting in right now, everything feels a bit pumped up valuation wise. So this is high. I am not a fan of that valuation, and it is trading around its 52-week high. And from its March lows, it's been up about, it was at about 60 in its March lows, and it's up to about 160 now. I still like it at the price now. I think you kind of have to look at the future, not what it's done in the last year or so. So it has gone up so much, but I believe there still is room to grow with that 5G and the additional amount of revenue that they will be producing with that 5G wave. Because I think there's going to be high demand for their services, which is going to equal more revenue for them, which is going to in turn make their stock go up. Hopefully, that's the bullish thesis on that one at least. Negatives I see on this one though. It is trading very high, 52-week high. Same plan with Apple. I'd just stuff some money into it if it dropped. I would love to get it for a cheaper price. I wish I scooped a ton up in March when it was like $60-some a share. Woulda, shoulda, coulda though, right? They had some Apple issues, which are now resolved, but they did have a big lawsuit with Apple, which is not good because that's probably one of their biggest providers that they have, or it was. And now that they've resolved it, they are giving chips to Apple. But it is one of the issues that they had with them is that, oh my gosh, they could lose a huge partner if they have issues with Apple. So that is a couple things I feel about Qualcomm. I do think they're going to be able to do well and have increased earnings, increased revenue, and I think their stock price should rise up. So the last two companies I want to talk about here are the actual service providers. So on this one, I want to talk about T-Mobile, ticker symbol TMUS, or Verizon, both of them which I own, ticker symbol V. So it does seem kind of silly that I do own two different types of service providers, but I like having the exposure to it, and I like both of them for kind of different reasons. So T-Mobile, I like that they're kind of acquiring new other providers, and they seem like they're going to be growing more than Verizon will be in the near-term future. They recently acquired Sprint, which I'm a member of Sprint, and I really, really like their services, so I can kind of get behind T-Mobile a little bit more. Metro PCS, and they've also made some $1 million agreements with Ericsson and Nokia. So I feel like their growth is going to be really, really on point. The downside with this one is they have a PE of 45. I have seen their revenues grow up and up and up, and I think with the 5G wave, it's just going to get better and better because they're going to have to charge more for 5G, so I believe that their revenues and their earnings and growth and everything should be quite a little bit better. So I think that could make a nice fat stack of cash. Verizon, on the other hand, so Verizon's kind of a value play. The PE is 12.88, which is kind of unheard of, kind of a big dividend stock here as well. So it pays a nice dividend of 4.4%. Revenue earnings-wise have been pretty much stagnant, at least over the last 4 years or so, and I don't really see the potential growth that I see out of T-Mobile, but I do like the fact that Verizon will benefit from 5G. They'll be able to, charge up for their services, hopefully the same thing as T-Mobile, hopefully be able to increase their growth through their sales and everything like that. So I also like that the money I've stuffed in them is going to be getting paid a decent dividend while I'm waiting for hopefully 5G to take off even more this year in 2021. So those are the ones that I like. So we provided you with some services, AT&T, Verizon. Qualcomm is the maker of the parts for the phones, and Apple is the one selling the phones. So I'm hoping to be making money on every single front of the phone business here and the 5G that's going to roll out in 2021. So hopefully I can look back in this video in like a year and be like, oh, sweet, I made a bunch of money on those. But we'll see what happens. So again, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence. I have positions in all these ones. I like these companies. So if you enjoy the content, think about subscribing. And hopefully you guys also make tons of money. Thanks.